So, the Game of Thrones finale really pissed me off. In fact, the whole of the last season has been a complete farce. I mean, it got off to a fairly good start, and then it started to dwindle in the middle, with nothing really happening. And then the events that happened between episodes, because okay, so to put it this way, the events that happened between episode 3 and 7 could have taken up 2 episodes rather than 4. But no, they had to create some bullshit for us to guzzle down like a fucking chunky Oreo milkshake. Now, the first thing I had a problem with was, this is the finale mainly that I'm talking about, but the whole season was a bit of a problem. But the first problem that I had was the Littlefinger problem. Holy shit. Littlefinger has been a pain in my ass since day one. Not only has his accent changed more times than there have been arses on the Iron Throne, but his demise comes about in such a ridiculous way that it makes me feel like there's just no point in his character for the last 7 seasons, other than to just be some kind of wild card that they use to help the heroes whenever it's needed. He's just a convenient plot point, and that's it. There's nothing else to him. For 7 seasons, he's just been a convenient plot point. Littlefinger, right, in the last season, has started to set up this whole deal between the Stark sisters, turning them against each other. The whole time, it looks like some real shit is about to go down between them, with Arya hinting that she might peel her fucking sister's face off and start walking around as her, like some kind of beautiful version of Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Or at least, which would have been awesome if that had actually happened. That would have been super fucked up. There were so many possibilities with that storyline, especially with Jon being the King of the North, coming back up there to fight the White Walkers. It would have been interesting, and Littlefinger gaining some kind of payoff would have been satisfying after all his scheming and whatnot. But instead, we get this out of the blue trial where he's executed within 5 minutes. At least have an episode where they figure it out or something, like they scheme him back, scheming the schemer. I mean, that'd be way more satisfying than what we got. But it just felt more like the writers were like, well, meh, he needs to die, so how do we kill him? Oh, the girl's a psychic now? Sure, fuck it, cut his throat open. Meh. It just didn't feel right, I mean, I didn't really like Littlefinger as an actor or as a character or whatever, but I felt that this character wasn't shown any respect. I mean, he's been such a big part of the story for so long. You'd think that they'd at least treat the story of his death with something a little better written. It felt lazy, and it felt like, it just felt like a lot of season 7, actually. It just felt a little lazy. Like they're just trying to be done with it all. Like, how are we going to do it? We'll just do it this way. Bleh. It just feels so... I don't know. Now let's get to Jon and Dany. Now, I'll take as much of Jon's butt cleavage as I can get. I'm just the same as the next guy, So no complaints from me there. And Dany's looking fine as always. Her beautiful, beguiled face getting wrapped up in those northern lips. It was great, I felt it. I felt it down, in the depths, in my waters. But wait, I just got some new information. He's fucking his aunt? Yes, he's fucking his auntie. Why? Who cares? I knew there was a mystery to who Jon's mother was and all that shit, but this leaves way too many questions. I went back and watched a bit of the first season. I then watched the background lore thing on YouTube, Geek Alert, for the first season. I mean, the whole thing creates kind of a plot hole, or at least some questions. Like, why did no one ever say anything about this? Like, Ned obviously knew about it. And there were some maesters who knew about it too, since they recorded it. 2 kings have died during this time period. You've had Robert die, and you had that little fucking kid die. Was Tywin ever the king? If so, then even 3 kings have died. And yet no one person has ever bothered during this whole time to out this secret. Despite birdies being all over the place and knowing everything, all these people, all these secret mongers who have all lived through the Mad King from the Mad King right up until season 7. And no one knew, literally no one other than like Ned Stark, who is eventually killed as well. Honestly, it just kind of feels like that they put this in there for no reason. Jon's no longer a Stark or a bastard, meaning his underdog status is just void. It doesn't even matter. If he'd become king off the back of all his achievements, then that'd be awesome. But now he just has a clear blood lineage to the throne, making all of this journey about being a bastard and blah, blah, blah. It just makes it worthless. And now he's fucking his auntie. I mean, fuck. She's hot, but still. And it works the other way as well with Daenerys. All her journey of being a Targaryen and having a claim to the throne and blah, 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 is literally just undermined by Jon just being the next king. So if that information comes out and he tells her, then she's just going to be like, oh, well, whoa, so I just did all this for nothing. Okay. You know what I mean? It just feels cheap. It feels cheap to do this, to pull this storyline. I wanted Dany and Jon to get together, do a lot of humping, and just take everyone out, man. Just take them out, imprison the Lannisters or something, and take over with some peaceful / war shit, and just do some crazy concoction plans against the what's-her-face, Xerxes and shit, fight the White Walkers. But now it just feels like none of that matters. They can just beat the White Walkers, and then they can just go, hey, look at these documents. I'm actually the legitimate claim to the throne. Xerxes, go to jail. It's like there's no need to have a plan anymore. There's no need to scheme. There's nothing to care about. I mean, Xerxes obviously doesn't know. They all don't know about it. So, she's not going to have him killed or whatever. Well, I don't know. She might still try and have him killed anyway. She obviously doesn't trust them all and whatever. But it's just, I don't know. It just feels like this is way too convenient. It just feels way too convenient. It doesn't, I feel like it completely undermines everything that's gone on before it. And it's just annoying. It's just really annoying. And also, can I just say something as well? What is it with all the incest in this show? The Targaryens are traditionally incestuous, if you don't know. I only learnt that from the lore thing that I watched the other day. But they're incestuous, so fucking what's-her-face, Daenerys, she's basically the product of incest. Then you've got Xerxes and Jaime that are fucking at every opportunity, brother and sister, twins apparently. You've got everyone vying for Jon and Sansa to start gouging at each other's insides. They used to say that if gay marriage became legal, then the next thing would be incest. Now I'm starting to think that they were right. I mean, no one cares that they're doing it, especially if they're hot. Now the wildling girl who was getting raped by her dad every day, that shit was terrible. Because he was ugly and he was evil. But if he had been Brad Pitt, people would have just given it a pass. Honestly, it's incredible, how public perception of things alters just so long as the people are attractive. You know what I mean? How many people forgive Floyd Mayweather for battering his girlfriend just because he's attractive? Or any number of NFL players who have battered their spouses or partners just because they're attractive sportsmen. Chris Brown. Who else is there? And let's look. I can't think of many attractive incestuous people, but I'm just talking about transgressive, kind of horrible people. But Johnny Depp, who may or may not have beaten up his wife at some point, but because he's a hot guy, People just don't give a shit. They just don't care. They'll go, oh, no, that's bad, isn't it? But there must have been a reason. But if he was ugly, they don't care what reason he had. Fuck him. Put him in the oven. Just put him in the fucking oven. It's just, honestly, it beguiles me sometimes. Beguile? It beguiles me sometimes. How people just give a pass to people if they're just attractive. Like, they can do any kind of heinous shit, but as long as they're attractive, it's okay. Now, just so you know, I am aware that all of this is fiction, but I'm just saying, okay? And it's something to think about. Okay, so the next thing that annoys me about this season and the finale, the Night King and the White Walkers by extension. I guess, because I know there's another season coming up, so we may get more explanation for this in the final season. But so far, we have no clue as to why the White Walkers exist, where they came from, or what. Like, we don't have any clue as to what they're about. They're literally just there. I mean, they've even got armor. They've got uniforms. They've got little horn crowns in their head. They've got faces. Like, they're obviously made of some kind of ice. They're obviously some kind of demon or god or something. But, like, they've just got nothing. So where does... we don't even know what they want. Like, obviously they want to try and create a big army, but then what? What are they going to do after that? Like, what, are they just going to have a party? Just like, hey, get the conga! Break out the conga! Shit, lads! Bring out the fucking... What is it? The thing where you go under the stick? Break out the fucking barbecues, lad! Get the beers out! Hey! You know, we're all zombies now. Fuck it. You know what? I don't understand. So... You know, where does their power come from? Who gave it to them? You know, are they gods? It'd be nice to get some answers by this point. But no, we haven't got any. Nada. I hope to get something. You know, when the fat lad was looking for all the books about the White Walkers, I got excited. I thought, oh, maybe we're actually going to learn something about the White Walkers now. But instead, all we get is a plot point about a mine for some dragon glass or whatever, so they can go and kill them. Nothing on the history, or the legend, nothing. They've been there since day one, episode 1. And we still know literally zilch about them. It's just frustrating to me. And it feels lazy. I like that there's been a lot of mystery, I like that they've been built up, but now that we're heading towards the end, I'd like a little bit more background on these characters that have been such a big, ominous threat throughout the whole thing. You know, it's a bit like, you know, the Darth Vader scenario. At least you get some feel, like they give you some background, even though it's not the real background. They say he's like, oh, he was a very powerful Jedi, but you turned in such and such a way. But they never tell him that it's actually Luke Skywalker's dad, and you get that reveal later. But they still give you some background, some idea of what Darth Vader is or where he comes from. They give you something. He's not just some mysterious man who just kills people. You know, there's some history. You get an understanding that the Sith have been a long lineage of things and yada yada. You get this idea. You get that feeling of knowing that there's been a thing to it, and you can probably look into it if you want. But the White Walkers, so far in this series, we've had 7 seasons of hour-long episodes, and not one mention of how the White Walkers even came into being. Not one word about it. It's just, bleh, how? You know, I'd rather... Okay, so this is... In the first episode of the 7th season, I would have just preferred the White Walkers to just burst through the wall, kill everyone in the north, and then everyone in the south, or wherever else, all go to war with the White Walkers, rather than playing with my emotions like they have been doing. This season was pretty boring in a lot of ways, and comparing it to the first season is like watching a balloon inflate, full of life and birthday monikers. Season 7 is like watching that same balloon deflate and wither in the last vestiges of the party lights while some burnt out old man starts puking all over the dance floor because he ate too many entrees and drank too much beer. I mean, it's just the life is gone. The life of the series is gone, and it should have ended in the 7th season like they intended in the fucking first place. The 6th season was pretty good, though again they could have hurried some of the plot along to make room for the 7th. So then instead of having like 6 episodes or 7 episodes for season 7 or whatever, they could have done like 12 and then finished the whole thing with a bang, while they still had some life in it. But no, they've got to milk it. They've just got to milk it like they always fucking do. Milking my time, my health, my sperm. They're taking everything away from me with this fucking filth. But I just keep coming back. And they know it. They know they've got a grip on my soul. And they're not letting go. Will I be surprised if they announce a season 9? No. Will I be angry? Yes. Will I watch it? Yes, because I'm like a heroin addict. I know this shit is going to kill me, but I keep shoving that needle into my groin anyway, because it's all I've got left. I don't have anything else. I'm a lost cause. I'm a fucking nomad, and I'm a write-off. And all I have left is this goddamn TV show that they can't even pace right anymore. God damn it! But yeah, you know, whatever. Yeah, thanks for watching. Big shout outs to Game of Thrones creators for making a great TV show. Big shout out to HBO. Big shout out to George R.R. Martin. Keep it cool, keep it breezy, keep it schwiggity schwo, keep it swifty, keep it Blastmaster KRS-One. Honestly. But yeah, give us a like, subscribe. Tell me what you think about my review of the 7th season of Game of Thrones, and I'll happily argue with you in the comments. Alright, see you later.